Welcome back. I hope you're having a good day. I can't complain on this sunny Saturday. Today's video is going to be about the danger of living in autopilot. Um, as we go through life, there's so many responsibilities that we have every single day, every single week, every single month. And it seems like we sometimes can't get a chance to really pursue what we want or even just have a little fun here and there. And so today's video is just going to focus more on that. And so let's just hop right into it, guys. It's easy to fall into routines and move through life without thinking. Work, responsibilities, and distractions can make us spiritually immune. We face so many things every day, from different people, from social media to just anything and everything that we do. And sometimes we let it get the best of us. We let the time spent eat away at our day. We let some type of distraction catch our attention for an hour or two. Think about TikTok. TikTok is so easy to scroll through the pages and all your things that you want to look for celebrities and the NBA or whatever you're into. And it's so easy just to waste an hour or two doing that and not using your time effectively. And so God calls us to be, to live eternally and use our time wisely. Ephesians 5:15 through 16, be very careful then how you live, not as unwise, but as wise, making the most of every opportunity because the days are evil. I won't say days are always evil, but there will be days where it will be challenging and hard to overcome, just a certain day that will mess up your week or even your month. So you have to use your time effectively. You have to use your time wisely and know when to, get a chance to do those certain things that you want to do that are not more focused on your calling or your needs for your day-to-day. And so this moves into the second thing I want to talk about is drifting. Drifting starts to happen very slowly in our lives when we are just so used to the mundane routine of doing everything every day, every week. People really walk away from God suddenly, and spiritual distance often happens little by little. When you think about just a baby, they need water, they need milk, they need substance, food, they need time spent sleeping and being nurtured. It's the same thing with us. We are babies to God, so we need to allocate what's needed for our lives in all the right directions, in all the right areas of our lives. Of course there will be times where some things will have to be more allocated than others, but you need to also allocate time for God, to build your spiritual soul, build your spiritual mind, and your spiritual being. And so he doesn't want you to be dry and drifting slowly. So when we stop paying attention, we can slowly drift as time goes on. So you want to pay attention to what you do every day. You want to pay attention to what you do every week. Review just the small things that you partake in. If you think about just finances, financing is all about your yearly review of what you're doing. Well, that's more of accounting. Accounting is based on what you did in the past, and finance is more about what you're going to forecast in the future. And so you want to be your own accountant. You want to be your own financial advisor for yourself. You rely on someone to manage your stocks, manage your portfolio, but can you yourself manage your own life? Can you manage your decisions? Can you manage your oppositions? This is something that I go through every day and everyone goes through every day. But it comes to a point where we just need to take control of our lives and not just let things dictate where we're going to go or where we're going to move. So you want to be intentional. So the next thing I want to talk about is just life moves faster than we think. Many people assume that they always have more time in life. We live life on autopilot, and sometimes that doesn't always get us to where we want to be quickly or just on time. If you think back to the Bible, Jesus was always on time with everything that he did, whether it's healing or nurturing somebody, or even just feeding the poor, feeding the people that was following him throughout the different lands. There's always a perfect timing for you to pursue or do something in life. But the thing that we don't recognize is when we waste our time and we're so just caught up in the day-to-day task of doing this, watching a movie. Like, look, I'm gonna give you an actual scenario. Coming from work, you're tired, dealing with the kids, eating, making dinner, watching a movie. You wanna change up something from your day-to-day, because just doing that every single day is gonna make you spiritually dry. It's gonna make you dry just as a being, as a person. You want to keep your mind racing. You want to keep your mind focused on different things that can lead you to a better you. So life moves faster than we think, and we can miss meaningful moments with God and others when we're so stuck on just, this is something that is convenient, this gets the job done, but we want more besides just the convenience factor. So be more than that. Be more for yourself. Be more for your kids. Be more for others. Be a conversationalist. You want to do more. You want to see more. You want to just get out there and just recognize that there's another you on the other side that you have to figure out. So some scriptures to just talk about this was Hebrews 2:1. We must pay the most careful attention, therefore, to what we have heard, so that we do not drift away. James 4:14. You are a mist that appears for a little while and then vanishes. And so back to what I was saying about the movies, and even for myself, it's so convenient to just put on a good movie, put on a good show that catches my attention for maybe 2 or 3 hours. But what can you use those 2 or 3 hours to do in your life for? What can you prosper with those 2 or 3 hours in your life? So the world promotes these certain things, constant just business, constant distraction. And God calls us to think differently. He calls us to renew our minds every single day. So don't fall into the trap of just being so convenient, and I'm not going to say lazy, but just dumbing down yourself, watering down yourself. You want to be more than yourself. It's always a challenge that you want to take on and eventually conquer. So transformation starts when we internally realign our focus, because our focus projects what our life will be. Our focus projects what our week to week will consist of. It's just like a regimen. And so it's just like, these NBA players, or just whoever you think of that maybe you want to be in life. Maybe it's a celebrity that is great at acting. That took repetition. That took no days off. That took challenges. That took hardship. And it also took just perseverance. It's a lot of wind. I'm sorry, guys. And so this leads to Romans 12:2. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. You always want to be transforming yourself every day. You may not be good at this one thing, and that is the area where you need to focus more your attention, your effort, your everything to. Because there's always something that you're always good at. There's something always that you're always trying to improve at. But what about these areas that you're leaving out? So you want to incorporate the entire pot. You want to incorporate everything so you can be the person, the go-to person for someone else's shortfall in the future. So slow down and be still. Stillness allows us to recognize God's presence. When we slow down, we gain the clarity and perspective of who we are and what we want to be in this lifetime. So being present helps us reconnect spiritually, because when we connect spiritually, that helps us realign ourselves mentally, physically, and just, earthly, because our earthly bodies cry out all the time for something that we don't need, something that maybe will distract us. But when you align spiritually in tune with God, everything else will fall down that path. It's just like a domino effect. So Psalms 46:10, be still and know that I am God. And so just my closing thoughts would be, just don't let life pass you by. Don't get caught up in just the mundane of what you're used to and what you're convenient to. Go to the beach. Go experience something that God created. Go climb that mountain. Go hiking. Go sledding. Do something that you haven't done. As long as it aligns with the calling I won't say even the calling, just as long as it aligns with something that is different that you're doing day to day. Because new experiences, new opportunities can sometimes be the calling that God needs you to actually step in, to recognize who you are and who you want to be. So don't be that dry person, because God doesn't call us to be boring. A lot of people think that just following the Christian way and following God is boring. But when you get a chance to just be with him every day, get a chance to make him your best friend and take him places everywhere you go, you will realize more times than not that he is always wanting you to be firstly under his wing, and secondly, always changing and always evolving. So when we step off autopilot, we begin to see God working in our lives. So go take that different experience. Go take that different opportunity. Go do something that you never have done before that is aligning with the purpose of God, that is aligning with just doing something good in your life, nothing bad. So just to leave you off again, do those things and make the most of it. Appreciate the slow days, appreciate the fast days, but don't let life pass you by. Always cherish the people in your life. Always cherish the moments that you experience every day. So I say thank you for your time, and I'll talk to you guys soon. My name is Lennox. See ya.